Vegas knows this. This is an 8-to-1 fight. $100 on Claggett gets you $800. $100 on Lopez barely gets you anything. So during my prediction, I always talk about what my father used to tell me, bet with your wallet, never with your heart. If you guys have big money, put it on Lopez, but don't expect to win much. If you're Canadian, if you're a fan of Claggett, if you like the way he goes about his business, and you think that he's a live dog, throw your money on Claggett. Me personally, it's a no-brainer. How can I bet against the takeover? Welcome fight fans to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning last night's title fight in Miami between Teofimo Lopez and Steve Claggett.
Some of this action from the fight early on, it was the unrelenting pressure of Steve Claggett.
Guys, if you tuned in last night on the live stream, I want to say thank you. We had a lot of fun. We streamed the event from Miami, live reaction, live stream of the Teofimo Lopez title fight with the Canadian Steve Claggett. Some facts about the fight before we break down the fight analytics are that Teofimo Lopez went in as the 140-pound champ. His belt was on the line against the tough and gritty Canadian. We knew a couple things about Claggett. We knew that he didn't have the shiniest record, and Lopez knew himself he shouldn't look past Claggett. The guy was on a 9-fight win streak. He had 7 wins by knockout, and he hadn't been finished since 2011. The 35-year-old Canadian was tough and gritty throughout the whole 12-round affair. The story of the fight was the output. Lopez threw more punches than he ever has in a fight, and he landed more punches, and Claggett's pace was amazing. We knew Claggett was a volume puncher. We knew about his output. We knew about his chin. And the surprising thing on my end was the fact that Lopez answered every single time Claggett would try to pressure him. Lopez did fight a lot of the fight up against the ropes due to Claggett's style, and Lopez's countering was on point last night. He didn't get him out of there, but like I said, 2011 was the last time Claggett got finished. It was the only time in his career of his 7 losses. Overall, I give Teofimo Lopez on a scale of 10, 8, just because he didn't get him out of there. I thought he boxed well. I thought he boxed smart. He was gritty. He showed his heart. Both guys, it was an entertaining fight. I told you guys last night, if you were on the live stream, that was the most entertaining 120 to 108 fight I've ever watched, meaning that Teofimo Lopez won every round, but it was still exciting. So in this video, I want to break down those wild stats, those crazy punch numbers, talk about the narrative of the fight, and stay tuned to the very end. We want to share a little bit about what's next for Teofimo Lopez. It was all Lopez regarding the scorecards. He landed and threw career highs, 4 total punches. Lopez also landed 46% of his power punches and a career high 67 body shots versus the Iron Shin Canadian, who landed himself 12 of 68 punches per round. Lopez threw a career high 946 punches and landed a career high 315 in what turned out to be a one-sided scoring output. Claggett's chin in large part held strong, but despite pushing the pace all 12 rounds, Lopez was beating Claggett to the punch in almost every exchange. Guys, if you want to rewatch the fight, the most exciting round, in my opinion, was round 8. It was a back-and-forth slugfest. It was the moment where Lopez actually giving Claggett what he wanted. Every time Lopez would exchange and throw his combos and get his hands up, rather than circling out, he would stay there and stay stationary and give Claggett an opportunity to land his punches. And after that 8th round, Lopez's corner made an adjustment, told Teofimo, hey, after you throw, either slip and roll or circle out either to the right or the left. And Lopez started doing this, and he started getting a hit a lot less. One thing about the fight, I'd like to see Lopez get hit a lot less. Use your footwork, you have the conditioning, and sometimes it looks like he might have these little mental lapses, and you could egg him into a dogfight. And that's what Claggett wanted. It's just Lopez's skill set was just one above, and you got to see the levels of boxing in terms of the technique, the speed, the power, and accuracy. Now let's take a look at the total fights, punch stats per jabs, power shots, and total output. Guys, let's look at the jabs first landed throughout the entire fight. Teofimo Lopez threw 327 and only landed 33 at a 10% clip. Claggett threw 454, landed 80 at a 17.5% clip. This is all about Claggett's style. The reason for this is Claggett was on the front foot the whole time, pressuring Teofimo back. So when you're on your back foot, when your back's against the ropes, your jab is pretty much going to be pointless. You pretty much have told yourself you want to sit there and counter, and that's exactly what Teofimo Lopez was doing, and it worked for him last night against Claggett as he won every round. Now let's take a look at the power shots throughout the fight. If we look at the total power punches thrown by Teofimo Lopez, he threw 619, landing 282 at a 46% clip. Claggett threw 366, landing 60 at a 16% clip. And this was a tell of the story. Basically, as the jab percentages were in Claggett's side, the power shots were in Teofimo's side. If you're jab, 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 you can't sit down on power. So you have to pick one, what you want to do. And Teofimo Lopez knew that this was going to be a strategy. Fend off Claggett's pressure, fend off his aggression, and be able to poke holes in that offense and throw and sit down on counter punches. And a lot of these power shots were thrown with Teofimo's back against the ropes. Now let's take a final look at the overall output of the fight. The Final Punch stat report, guys, has Teofimo Lopez overall throwing 946 punches, landing 315 at a 33% clip, both career highs. Claggett threw 820, landing 140 at a 17% clip. So a lot of these punches that Claggett was pressuring Teofimo with, Teofimo kept his guard high at times, but dropped his hands at times. And rather than moving his feet as much as I wanted, he was moving his head. So a lot of Claggett shots weren't landing. Moving forward, I would still like to see Teofimo Lopez move a bit more and not get hit as much. He has the skills to circle to the left and circle to the right, especially against a volume puncher like Steve Claggett. When we look at the 140-pound division, we have to talk about the champions. You have Albert Puello, leaders talk about Claggett in that respect, even though Claggett at the time of his fight with Lopez was ranked higher than Pero was at his time with Matias. I think it makes a lot of sense in terms of unifying fights. I would love to see Teofimo Lopez versus Liam Pero. Let me know what you guys think. You don't have to agree with me. Who matches up best with Teofimo Lopez next? Who would you like to see him fight? And all in all, leave that in the comment section below.